Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. Here we will share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, verses of victory, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul, to keep you on your path of purpose and navigate this thing called life with power and authority. This is Andrea L. Hines, and I'm your host for When Life Speaks, here on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. I am glad you accepted the invitation to join us tonight. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it is going to be a blessing to your life, it will be to someone else as well. So share, tag, start a watch party, and invite someone you know to join us. Then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to When Life Speaks. You have joined this broadcast on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. And I am here this evening with my co-host, Audra Lynette Hines. Hello there, Audra. How are you?
I'm fine, Andrea.
We're going to figure out what to call each other, but probably not this week, but maybe next week. Let's see who's on the line with us tonight already. Ida Batts. Good evening to you, Ida. Glad to have you with us this evening. And who else do we have that's tuned in with us? I think I see Francina. Miss Francina Booker is on with us this evening. And let's see. Linda. Hey there, Linda. Good to have you tonight.
And Carmen. Yes.
Good evening to you, Miss Carmen. Mm-hmm. Happy Friday Eve, she says.
Yes.
Well, we are glad to have you on with us, ladies, and I pray that some other folk will come in and join us because we got a really good topic tonight. We have had some good things that we've been talking about, and I would ask you that if there is something that you would like for us to explore, a topic that you would like to weigh in on, something you'd like to hear us talk about, and you can join in the conversation, be sure to either put that in the comments or email me at speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. That is speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. We have gathered together.
Ask the Lord.
Some of our favorite listeners have become part of what we're calling the Village, and they weigh in on the topics that we have week to week. And if you would like to be a part of that, also let us know. And you can do that by the comment section or speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. And we're going to do it a little bit differently tonight because we usually take the comments from one individual and we read through everything that they have to say. But tonight we're going to kind of mix it up a little bit and just see what they're talking about. The people from the Village that were invited to be with us tonight are Lalonda Foy, Jessica Stevens, Marie Kinsella, Charles Durant, Carmen Thompson, who's on the line with us, Pastor Kelvin Little, Pastor Gloria Kennedy from out there in California, and Francina Booker, who's one of our faithful listeners.
Yes.
So, Lynn, how are you feeling today? I didn't even ask you. How are you feeling tonight? Good night. You good?
I'm good. Tired, but I'm good.
You're tired, but you're good. Okay.
Tired. But I'm
well,
good.
Tonight, our topic is about false start versus fresh start. Tips on how to begin again. We've been talking about mistakes and I'm not what I've done. And we're always comforted in the fact that when things don't go well, things don't go right, or there's a loss or anything, those life things that just seem to happen, that we can always begin again. It is not going to be the end of the world. We can begin again. But sometimes in beginning again, it is a false start. And sometimes in beginning again, we just are not successful at that. So we wanted to talk about those three things tonight. Good evening, Dana. Glad to have you on the line with us. So we want to talk about those things tonight, get some tips that our village gave us in how to successfully begin again. So we want to start by talking a little bit about the false start. And let's see, Pastor Gloria said that the false start to her means not genuine, or the inability to be honest with yourself and making it appear as if you're moving forward. Making it appear as if you're moving forward, and yet you are still in the same place. And that might cause you to really address reality that you are stationary or stagnant. You're stationary or stagnant. Now, this comes up a lot when we look at beginning again and starting over, particularly from the standpoint of being honest with yourself, because that is sometimes what keeps us from making a successful fresh start and having us make a false start. What are your feelings on that, Lynn?
You know, when I think of the word false start, I immediately think of track and field. I immediately think of that. You know, that person is so nervous and so anxious to get it started, to get it moving, that they run or start running or start moving before the gun goes off.
Yes.
And now it used to be that they would start the race over again. Now, if you make that false start, you are automatically disqualified. But isn't it awesome that you can have a false start and not be disqualified in God? You know, I am the kind of person that if I know I'm in a meeting, and I've done it before, and I have actually had people tell me, slow down. Because I am the kind of person that if you have a meeting with me and you begin to tell me that you want to do A, B, C, D, and E, I go out and get the information for A, B, C, D, and E, when actually you aren't ready.
Yeah.
You're not ready. But to me, if you present it to me, we ready.
We ready to go.
How she says, she ready, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get this started. So a false start sometimes could be not poor planning, poor preparation. You know, sometimes we've got that person in the back of our head telling us, girl, you can do it. Go ahead. You know, I want to buy a house, but my credit is not where it needs to be to buy a house. So why would I want to jump out there to buy something I can't afford or get the best rate for the house because I'm not ready?
And that that might be a part of the plan for your fresh start.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing it within the right timing,
Right.
then it
It's a false
causes you to
start.
make a false start. And that's interesting because both Francina and I think it was Charles alluded to that. Francina said, an unsuccessful attempt to begin something. This is a false start. And then she said, moving prematurely.
Yes.
Moving prematurely before time. And Charles said, false starting. It's something that had the intentions to do, but didn't want to complete the task. Prematurely ending it for whatever reason.
Right.
So we can begin it prematurely. We can also end it
prematurely.
So that timing in there is extremely important. Pastor Kelvin said false start to him reminds him of being undisciplined or having a lack of control. And Jessica Stevens said false can be defined as not according with truth or fact and meant to deceive. He's thinking of the word false. A false start is done, here you go, without planning and on false pretenses.
Yes, I like that. On false pretenses.
On false pretenses. So that's kind of where we are on that false start. I like the fact that it is it's just not exactly where we are trying to go. It's you can't always define it. It's not always a definitive thing. The tricky thing about the false start for me is that when you're doing a fresh start, when you are looking to start over, somehow we leave us out of the equation.
Yeah.
We think if I move, it's going to be better. If I buy a house, I can start over. If I have the car, I can start over. If I have the job, I can start over. But when we get into how to make a successful fresh start, we have to understand that we take ourselves with us wherever we go.
Right.
I can't get away from me.
Right. So if we haven't controlled the bad habit,
right, exactly.
It's a fresh start, but it's a fresh start with the same old habits, the same old principles. So is it really fresh?
And is it going to put you in the new place that you wanted to put you in? Or are you going to go forward a little bit and stop prematurely and have to come back and rethink everything that you're doing? So that's some of our way in, and I like that from our folks on our false start.
Yeah.
And let's see what we got on the fresh start. On the fresh start, Charles says, fresh start has completed what was put before them. But due to the amount of pressure laid before them, good and bad, over time becomes overwhelming, and starting over fresh is the only option to save what's left.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting comment, trying to save what's left. What's left. Let's see. Pastor Gloria told us new starting over, closing a chapter in life. Wow. Closing a chapter in life or recovering from something. It can cause you to make some changes in behavior and changes in your action. But isn't that what you want in that fresh start?
Yes, I would think so. But again, it goes back to I think you said the other person's name was Charles and Pastor Gloria. It's all about what you said. We take us with you, so both of them are coming from the point of you have to want to change. We have to take that mirror, flip it around, and do a total and complete examination and be honest as to what worked, what didn't work,
what changed, that's good.
What changed, what needs to change, what we should hold on to, and what we definitely should let go of in order to complete the task.
Yeah.
Because what's that saying? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing the same way and expecting a different outcome.
Result. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, when you were talking about, you know, wanting to change, Pastor Kelvin said you have to have a commitment to a desired outcome. That says we got to be intentional about what we're going to do if we want that fresh start to happen.
Yes.
Lalonda says you got to put a positive spin on whatever it is you're getting ready to do when when you got that fresh start going. Maria Gonzalez says, when you fall, either stay down and wallow in self-pity, or you're going to allow the fall to motivate your next move. And that's going to push you into that fresh start. Who knows? And this is interesting. Who knows? Maybe God wanted to test your faith to see if you would cave in to defeat. And then she says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
I read something somewhere today where somebody said, I have fallen many times, but what I did not do was lay there.
That's it. That is it.
I did not lay there. We fall, but the important thing is not to lay there.
Well, let me tell you what, Carmen has I love what she said. She said her bounce back ability is strong. Her bounce back ability is strong. She said, I've had to start again in many areas of my life, financially, professionally, and in love and family relationships. I experienced the knockdown, but I don't stay down.
Right.
And I think that is the critical thing. You know, some things may happen to put you in that place. And somehow, when we are at a place where we think the answer is to begin again, it's not always.
Right.
And you have to know and be able to define what beginning again really means to you.
Right.
Some people want a complete makeover. You know, whether that be a physical makeover, a financial makeover, spiritual makeover, emotional makeover. They want everything to change and everything to shift. But sometimes there's some things that need to be tweaked. And the beginning again is just becoming aligned with what it is that you think you want to do in order to get to the ultimate outcome, like Pastor Kelvin was talking about, to get that desired outcome. Jessica Stevens said that a fresh start can be an incredible catalyst. It can motivate you to get things done, drop any baggage or emotions that have prevented you from going forward, help you form new habits that are in line with your goals and values, and take meaningful steps towards being your best self. She said that's what a fresh start will do for you.
Now, I'm going to put a spin on it, and I don't know whether or not anybody has thrown this in here, and I listened to the list of things that the young lady provided for you. But what I don't know is whether or not we put in there to cut off those people who prevent us from moving forward. You know, because sometimes the fresh start, you're going to have to cut some folk loose sometimes. And that's not always an easy thing, but sometimes it's a necessary thing. It's a necessary thing.
And I think that is, I think that's part of the decision. And I say that because the toxicity of relationships that we may be in are not controlled by the other person as much as they are controlled by us.
By you, right.
So they can't really prevent. They can't really stop if your mindset is such that you have determined what you need to do, how you need to do it. And it gets easier, I think, when you have the goal in front of you and you know exactly what you're going to do and you are intentional. You have made up your mind, you're intentional about what your strategy is going to be in order to get there. And I think I'm going to shift right now over to the steps that we need to take in order to be successful, because I think somewhere in there is something about that. Okay. So let's see. Anybody in the comment section?
Francina says getting rid of the naysayers.
Yes.
She talks about that, and yeah, and Carmen says, good, we can't take everyone with us to our next.
Absolutely. We got to be honest with ourselves. You will find that as we go down the list with some of these that we have, that they are kind of going to be repeating themselves, but that's a good thing. Let's see. Let's start with Lalonda Foy. She says, you have to be in the right mindset. Just got to make your mind up what you're going to do. You have to be ready to drop. Here you go, Lynn. You have to be ready to drop any baggage or emotions that have prevented you. Do you know Lalonda? Does it seem like y'all stay in the same?
I don't know Lalonda. I've never heard of her till tonight. Call me, girl.
So you have to be ready to drop any baggage or emotions that have prevented you from going forward. Learn from what you did in the past and know it does not define you. That's part of what we were dealing with mistakes, but propels you to do better. Okay? Charles said, now Charles has a whole strategy here. Charles said, devise a plan, stick to it, have backup and options. But here's something that he put together, and I think it kind of follows with a lot of the others. We have to do a self-assessment.
Right.
That's not what he called it, but that's really what it is that we have to do. He said, make a list of things you like about yourself, things that you don't like about yourself, and things that you want to improve. And that is in the process of getting to know who you are better.
Yes.
Sometimes we think that we are a particular way and we really are not.
We're not.
So it goes with that honesty and having that self-assessment. Now, Carmen and her bounce back ability. Let me get something that Carmen said here. She had some three very interesting things. She had feel it and move forward. And in that she said something that some people may not even admit. She said, I give myself time to cry.
Yeah.
I give myself time to cry. She gives herself permission to feel whatever that feeling is for her.
Yes.
And I know I had something, Carmen, that I had written one time, and I said there is a time limit on my tears and an expiration date on my fears.
Yes.
You know, you got to make sure when somebody else was mentioning, you got to make a decision whether you're going to wallow in this and have a pity party, or are you going to get up, pull yourself together, and move forward. So she does that, and she said, when or if this period turns to shame or damaging self-talk, it's time to stop and move into action.
Yes.
But she has a way there of doing that. She said, use the word.
Yes.
Find myself. We can't ever forget about that. We cannot forget about using the word, because that's where our strength comes from. That's where our hope comes from. The plans that God have for us are found in the word. So we got to stay in our word and stay close to our word. And she said, mantras and music.
Mm-hmm.
Mantras and music, those things that God will speak.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she says it's sometimes little catchy snippets of things. Sometimes it's not a long thing. And she likes some old school gospel music. So I tell you what, Carmen, you are not alone. You are not alone in that. We've got to do that. We've got to be able to feed ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We can't make a fresh start from a depleted state.
Right. Right.
We have to
Right.
be able to strengthen ourselves. And I think we did a program one time recently, Lynn, we were talking about how do you encourage yourself?
Yes.
You know, what are the things that you do to encourage yourself? So those are 3 areas, Carmen. Thank you for those, because those are
Do,
very, very important.
do you have is there like a song, a go-to song for you
For
personally, for
me,
you? For you. Mm-hmm. Do you have a go-to
it
song?
depends on where I'm trying to go.
Or I
Yeah,
should have asked
let me
my
tell you what
question differently.
tell you what I mean by that, because different songs minister to me in different ways,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
The other day it was thank you, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lord, for what you've done for me. And I just listen to that over and over and over again. Sometimes it is a worship song, like the Darnell
Yeah.
Harris
And
and
Sandy Patty.
Sandy
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sandy Patty.
Mm-hmm.
Patty. Uh, they're different things. Sometimes it's things by Ty Tribbett. You know, it's nothing in particular. And what I found in the way that I discovered that, believe it or not, I was going through a certain period in my life, and I listened to a song every morning on my way to work. It's unknown artist, but I can't even remember the name of the song now. And I listened to it every morning, and I would just weep. I would just be in my car, Carmen. I'd be in my car crying every
Mm-hmm.
every morning. And months later, I put that song on, and I thought, what were you crying about? What? I mean, it didn't have the same meaning for me, and it didn't have the same effect on me because that particular uh, problem had passed. That particular area
Mm-hmm.
had healed.
Right.
So for me, it's very different for me. How
Mm-hmm.
about you? You got one?
I do, but of course, we talked
Don't
about.
sing it. Don't sing
I'm
it.
not gonna sing it, but of course, we talked last week about being different. I do have um a few gospel songs, but I think for me right now there are 2 R&B songs that just do it for me. That whenever I hear them,
Mhm.
I love the words to them. One of them, of course, is "Level Up" by Sierra. And I think it's because she has a line in there that says my comeback's on 100.
Mm.
And I love that line. And she talks about, that's old news, this is new news.
Right.
My comeback's on 100. So I love that song. When I figured out the words, thank God you can Google words. Google's your friend. So I like that song. And I think Mary J's Just Fine. I like what I see when I'm walking past the mirror. I'm fine. I'm
Hmm.
fine. But I think right now, again, kind of I love my gospel music, but I am a choir. I'm a mass choir
Ah, yes,
girl
yes.
to my heart.
Hmm.
But so you can give me some Reverend Milton Brunson and some L.A. Mass, and
Mississippi
yeah,
Mass.
you can give me some old mass choir music.
Yeah,
Yes, I think there was
yeah.
That's When He Blessed Me was on,
Mm.
and I was sitting here, and I
Woo.
don't know what
Wow.
happened. Something stuff started falling from my eyes, and I couldn't get it together. And Jazz was like, "You need a minute? Are you okay?" I was just,
It's-
some songs, they just hit.
Yep.
They hit differently. They hit, You know, some songs will give you the good, you know, that feel good feelings, but there's some songs that just hit, and it doesn't matter when you hear them. They're timeless, they're classics, but they have a different meaning to them. They have a different meaning to them. So yeah, I have, those are my two songs. When I get to a place that I need something to just like, look, let's keep this moving. Yeah, then I have to tell myself that don't let Level Up come on in the car. And I'm sorry for the people who are around me, but that's the song for me, because it's time to level up. You know, clear off the playing field, level up. You know, if you fail, you stumble, fine. Like Carmen says, that bounce back ability, you got to put that on. Let's go.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's
let's
it.
go.
And she flashed up Walter Hawkins, that whole Hawkins era, man. I tell you, that was it, Carmen. That was it. Francina has got don't lose your confidence.
Yes.
Don't give up on yourself. Oh, I tell you, Francina, if we've got to learn to believe in us.
Yes.
We've got to learn to believe in us. It doesn't matter if everybody else believes in you if you don't believe in
yourself. That's right.
People can tell you wonderful things about you. You do this well, you do that well. Oh, girl, I tell you, you got that down. You got that on 100. You keeping it moving. You doing some things. But if you don't believe in you, that fresh start never happens.
Nope.
That ability to do some things and have some things and move forward into promises and into purpose cannot happen without you.
Yes.
You can be your own best friend and you can be your own worst enemy. And it's your choice. Yep, she put us there. She also seek God. Seek God and know whether or not the timing is right. And that goes back to the other part when we were talking about things being too early or things being premature in the beginning or premature in the end. But we have to seek his face. All of this, it goes without saying that we cannot do anything that we are trying to do successfully without him. Because when we do, we throw ourselves into the good thing and we throw ourselves in the good plan, which is not always the God plan.
Right.
And whatever you want to do, you want to be on the side of the God plan.
Yes.
Okay. She also said, you're asking for guidance and direction. Surround yourself with successful people who have been in the arena or done the kinds of things that you are looking to do. And if it is something in particular, and I think this is like if you want to make a fresh start in business or something like that, she was saying to research.
Yes.
To research, to be always be able to research so that you're going to make wise choices and wise decisions. You got anything else on that, Lynn? If not, we're going to move on.
I just love that don't give up on yourself. I think that you can't get there without you. So you can't, you got to bring your A game.
Yeah.
Bring your A game. And your A game is you. Your A game is you. And I think that is so awesome because we are all created to do certain things a certain way. We all bring something different to the table. Bring you. Bring you. Bet on yourself.
Yes.
Bet on yourself.
Amen.
Bet on yourself.
That's good. Now, Pastor Gloria said to pray, of course, and have a prayer partner. And in that prayer partner piece, and I think she may have mentioned it somewhere down the line, but I want to know from those who are here and those who are commenting, do you have an accountability person in your life that, number one, you can trust with your truth and your transparency, and number two, they are honest enough with you to check you when you're wrong? Anybody got one of those? I got one of those. I'm glad I have one. Who out there? Carmen, do you have one? How about Francine or Victoria? Any of you out there, do you have that person? Do you have that accountability partner? You got that? Anybody got that? How about you, Dana? You have that person in your life that you know is going to tell you the truth, going to tell you the truth, is going to help keep you from having that pity party. They refuse to attend your pity party. They just will not do it. Anybody got that?
Dana says you have one. Carmen says she has multiple. Good. I'm struggling with that. Okay. And I have to be honest, I'm struggling with that because I find that it's not always the same.
Now, what do you mean when you say it's not always the same?
How can I put this? Sometimes you can talk to the person and you can tell them the truth, but they won't necessarily tell you the truth. And I am at the place for myself. I need somebody I can be transparent with.
Right.
And it's difficult. Now, I may trust you, but can I trust you enough to be transparent? And that's the hard part, because while I understand your walk, your call, your title, or whatever, and I say that because it's difficult when you really want to open up and be transparent with somebody, but you got to make sure that they're not telling what you're saying. So for me, I find it difficult. I find it difficult for me because the last thing I want to do is share something with somebody that is personal and it's been told.
Yeah.
That for me, that all bets are off. I mean, I'm done. I check out. When wrestling, we tap out.
And Carmen said that she had multiple accountability partners, and some are professional, some are spiritual. Another is a close friend because their strengths are different. And I think that's a good point to make, because sometimes we run into problems with that because it's like you can't be all things to all people.
Right.
And sometimes we invest more into an individual than they're capable of giving back.
Exactly.
But what I do find is transparency and trust are twins.
Yes, they are.
Cannot have one
without the other.
So if there's anything in you that makes you feel or makes you even question, is this somebody that I can trust? That's not where your truth should go. And that's not where your transparency can be. Boy, I tell you, this is.
And let me tell you, and they will let you know immediately, because what is funny, and it's not funny. I shouldn't say it's funny, but what's interesting is that I can tell somebody something or a particular person something, and not 24 to 48 hours, they'll tell me, I was talking with so-and-so and I told them what you said about.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, I thought this was I didn't know that our conversation became a conference call. When did our conversation become a conference call? So for me, with things like that, it takes me a minute to really be at that place, because that for me, that.
And there are patterns, because if based on what somebody tells you about somebody else, you can best believe that it's the same pattern when you talk to them. I always say be very careful that we don't take gossip and disguise it as a prayer request, because
Oh my
sometimes that's all
gosh.
it is.
Yes.
It's
I
just
just
gossip.
need you.
I
And
gotta
this
tell you.
happened,
I gotta
and
tell
they
you.
called me, and they told me. So when in your time of prayer, no, 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 no. Mm-mm. And
So look, guys, these are things to look out for when you're beginning again. When you are starting
telling you.
again, keep these things in mind.
Mhm.
Let's see. Um, Pastor Gloria, be honest. Talk with someone who will tell you the truth. But we've gone through that. She says, write what you think the issues are and address each one. And I think that kind of goes back to what we're saying about you got to do a self-assessment from time to time, particularly before you begin a fresh start, before
Yeah.
you begin again.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. I think that is all. Francine had one other thing too that I wanted to read. She said, when you have a well thought out plan and you have reviewed it,
Mhm.
crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's, but it fell apart.
Mhm.
I think those are one of the most difficult situations to have before you when you're trying to begin again,
Mhm.
because you don't trust yourself
Right.
at that point. She
Mhm.
says, but you have to try to understand what happened,
Mhm.
what went wrong,
Mhm.
and why it failed. And
Mhm.
I think from that point, Francine, we move forward.
Mhm.
We move forward from there. But we've got to have that assessment. We've got to have that truth. We've got
Mhm.
to be willing to do that.
Mhm.
Man, I tell you what, I appreciate all of the comments. I appreciate the village for weighing in on this topic tonight. Everyone has experienced a setback of some kind.
Yes. Mhm.
And if you haven't, you will, because
Mhm.
that's the way that life is.
Set up.
But we're going to have that bounce back ability that
Mhm.
Carmen was talking about.
Yes.
We're going to be able to have that self assessment,
Mhm.
like Charles was talking about. We're going to be able to talk to God and write some things down and follow his leading and his guiding, like Gloria was talking about. I tell you what, I just appreciate all of the comments that were made by our village tonight. I thank you all so much for being with us. I hope you gained something from the program. I hope
Mhm.
that there was a nugget or something that was said that will help you the next time that you need to make a fresh start, that will keep you moving forward so that false starts don't become a part of your life, and that you will be strengthened and encouraged in your
Yes.
life journey. Do appreciate all of that. Lynn, do you have any closing remarks that you want to offer this evening?
Just keep moving. Just keep moving. Believe in yourself and keep moving.
Believe in yourself and keep
Mhm.
moving. Look, guys, if there is a topic that you have been thinking about or something that came to mind um, when you or throughout this program, if you want to put it in the comment section, please feel free to do that. Do that. And if you want to send me an email, I don't know why y'all don't like to email me. Send me an email at
Please send her an email.
life. Even if you just send it to say, hey
Hey,
there.
send her an email.
Speak Life with Andrea at gmail.com. That is Speak Life with Andrea at gmail.com. We will be right back here next week, Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Again, I appreciate you being with us. We can't do this without you. We're very glad that you are here. I love the mother-daughter match. Oh, that
Oh,
was so sweet. Now,
thank
send that
you.
to me in an email at speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. Francina, thank you so much. And thank you for being so helpful with the village and getting the information to us so that we can do what we do. God
Yes.
bless each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming ready to receive so that when life speaks, you
You'll
will.
speak life.
God bless you,
God
everybody.
bless you. Bye.